Welcome back. Today we are opening up something that it feels a bit like finding a secret manual for your own brain.
Hmm.
We're looking at a book published way back in 1921, but the ideas inside, they feel incredibly current.
They really, really do. We're talking about Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Behrend.
And before anyone thinks we're about to, go off the deep end into magic spells or just wishful thinking, let's just set the stage here.
Right.
This isn't a book about magic. It's really, I think, a book about mental discipline. It's about organization.
Exactly. I mean, when you dig into the sources, not just the book, but the research that kind of orbits around these ideas,
Yeah.
you realize Behrend is basically teaching a system of cognitive regulation.
Cognitive regulation.
Yeah, she's talking about how to stop the mind from just scattering its energy all over the place, and instead, how to focus it, like a laser.
And she pinpoints this core problem right at the start, one that I think every single person listening is going to recognize. She calls it mental hurry.
Right. And her definition of hurry is, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
She doesn't just mean rushing to catch a bus or something.
Yeah.
She says that hurry is, at its root, it's fear.
That's a huge statement. Hurry is fear.
It is. It's the fear that there isn't enough time, or that maybe you aren't enough to handle whatever is coming. And the result of that fear-based hurry is this really destructive state.
Your thoughts get scattered.
Totally scattered. You end up reacting to everything and, directing nothing.
So the mission for our look into this material today is to explore the solution she proposes. She calls it ordered mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see if we can figure out how to replace that anxiety with a specific order of operations for the mind.
We're going to break down her method for visualization, not as some kind of idle daydream, but as a really rigorous mental practice.
If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one.
Okay, so let's start there.
Yeah, let's unpack this. We're talking about the order of visualization. First things first, how are we even defining visualization here? Because I think a lot of people hear that word and they picture someone closing their eyes and wishing for a new car.
Well, yeah, and that's definitely not what Behrend's talking about.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right.
In this context, visualization is a tool. It's a tool for keeping the mind in order. She argues that visualization places things in their, quote, natural element.
So it's like mental organization.
It's exactly that. Think of it as taking all the chaotic potential of your life and giving it a specific coherent form in your mind first.
She uses this really cool analogy from the era the book was written in, the magic lantern.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, a magic lantern was basically an early type of image projector. Behrend uses this to explain the whole mechanism of the mind.
Okay, break it down.
She says your mind is the lantern itself. Your will, your focused intention, that's the light inside the lantern. And the picture you want to create, that's the slide you put inside.
I love that. So the mind is the machine, the will is the power source, and the specific thought is the image being projected.
Precisely. Now imagine you're trying to project that image onto a screen, and the screen represents your physical reality.
Okay.
If the light inside that lantern, your will, if it's flickering or shifting around or shaking, what happens to the image on the screen?
It's going to be blurry. You won't be able to make it out. It'll be a mess.
Exactly. It requires a steady, unwavering light behind the slide. If your will is unstable, if you're bouncing between different desires or letting fear shake that lantern, you never get a clear projection.
You just get chaos.
You just get chaos.
So the order of visualization is basically the instruction manual for how to keep that light steady and the slide crystal clear.
That is it in a nutshell.
All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Behrend. And the supporting research we looked at, it really breaks this down in 4 distinct steps. Let's walk through them in plain English.
Let's do it.
Step 1, choose a clear picture.
This sounds so simple, but I think it's where most people fail immediately. You have to decide exactly what is wanted.
Not what you think you should want.
Right. And definitely not focusing on what you don't want. That's a huge pitfall.
Right. You can't put a slide in the lantern that just says, I don't want to be in debt anymore.
No, because the lantern only projects what's on the slide. So if you're focusing on debt, you're projecting debt. You have to have a clear, positive image. I am financially stable and prosperous.
Okay, that makes sense. So step 2, and this loops right back to that steady light idea. Give it steady attention.
This is the discipline part. We look at a research report called The Architecture of Ordered Mentality to analyze this, and it connects Behrend's idea directly to something in psychology called attention training technique.
And what's that?
Well, it's a method used to treat anxiety, and it's all about the inhibition of distraction.
So learning to ignore things.
Pretty much. It's training your brain to stop chasing every shiny object or, every scary thought that pops up. Barron says you need to hold your chosen image without strain, but with steadiness.
Without strain. Okay, that's a key distinction we need to come back to. So we've got a clear picture. We're giving it steady attention. What's step 3?
Step 3, let the feeling match the picture.
Okay, this is crucial, and I think we need to clarify what feeling means here.
We do.
Okay.
She doesn't necessarily mean you have to be, like, jumping up and down with excitement all the time. She means a feeling of reality, a sense of naturalness.
We found a study in the Romanian Journal of Applied Psychology that really backs this up. It talked about how the vividness of imagery actually predicts something called self-efficacy.
Right. And self-efficacy is basically your belief in your own capacity to get something done.
Your belief that you can do it.
Yeah. The study suggests that when you can vividly imagine something and it feels real to you, not forced, but just real, your brain starts to believe you are actually capable of doing it.
So you're not just wishing.
No, you're rehearsing reality. You're training your mind. You're creating a neural pathway before the event even happens.
That's powerful. Okay, that brings us to the last step. Step 4. Take a clean next action.
This is where we bring it all back down to earth. This isn't just about sitting on the couch and thinking. Barron is very clear. You must move in the direction of the picture.
And this connects perfectly to the source we have on what are called implementation intentions.
Yes, the if-then plans. It's not just, I want to be healthy. It's, if it is 7 a.m., then I will put on my running shoes.
It's about automating the action.
Automating the action that supports the picture. And Barron emphasizes that this action should be done without panic. It's a clean action because it comes from that steady, ordered mind, not from the hurry of fear.
So to just quickly recap the order, choose the picture, hold it with steady attention, feel the reality of it, and then take the next logical, calm step.
That's the sequence.
It sounds so logical when we lay it out like that.
It does.
But people get stuck. I get stuck all the time. Why is this so difficult in practice?
Because we're human, and our minds are naturally messy places. It takes practice.
Okay, let's transition to those barriers. Why do people fail at this? Let's start with barrier 1, which seems to be vague pictures.
Yeah, going right back to the lantern analogy.
Okay.
If the slide is smudged or if it's just blank, nothing clear can project.
Right.
A lot of us have a general sense of, oh, I want things to be better, but we don't have a specific scene in mind.
The Stoic philosopher Epictetus actually comes up in the research here.
He does. Epictetus talked about the need for a clear impression. He said you have to have a clear impression to assent to or to agree with. If your mental impression is fuzzy, your actions will be fuzzy.
You can't hit a target you haven't defined.
You really can't.
Okay, barrier 2. This is the one that really, it tripped me up when I first read the material. Forcing emotion.
Ah, yes. Barron warns very specifically against strain.
I think a lot of us think visualization means you have to squeeze your eyes shut and really strain your brain to make it happen.
And Barron says that is actually completely counterproductive.
Yeah.
If you're straining, it implies on some level that you don't really believe it's possible.
Well, that's a great point.
Well, think about it. If you know you're going to have dinner tonight, you don't sit around straining to believe it. You just know it's going to happen.
Sure.
That tension, that strain, is actually a form of fear. It's the fear that it won't happen unless you force it with all your might.
We have a beautiful reference here from the Bhagavad Gita that Barron alludes to.
The lamp in a windless place.
Uh-huh.
That is the ideal state of the mind. The flame is steady, it's upright, it's not flickering all over.
It isn't struggling to burn.
It just burns.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of attention she's asking for. Calm, steady, not straining.
That is a powerful image to hold on to. Okay, barrier 3. Jumping between goals.
This is the shiny object syndrome of visualization. And Barron has another great analogy for this one, the photographer's plate.
Explain that one.
Okay, so imagine an old-fashioned camera with a single sensitive glass plate for the photograph. You set up, you take a picture of a tree.
Got it.
But then, before you develop it, you change your mind and decide you really want a picture of a house. So you take a picture of the house on the exact same plate.
You get a mess, a double exposure.
Right, exactly. Both images are completely ruined. Barron says this is what happens when we change our core mental picture every day. Monday, you want to be a great artist. Tuesday, you want to be a successful entrepreneur.
You're exposing the sensitive plate of your mind to all these contradictory images.
And the result is a blurred, chaotic life
Yeah.
with no clear picture developing.
That hits home. You have to let the image set before you start trying to take a new one.
You do. Consistency is everything.
Yeah.
You can't plant a seed and then dig it up every morning to see if it's growing.
Very true. Okay, barrier 4 is a big one. Contradicting the picture with constant doubt.
This brings us right back to mental hurry. Doubt is the ultimate countersignal. It's like trying to project that slide in the lantern, but you keep putting your hand over the lens.
So you have the picture, you have the will, but you're blocking the light from getting out.
Precisely. And this is where those implementation intentions we talked about become so useful again. You actually need a plan for doubt.
A plan for doubt.
Yes. You can't just hope you won't feel doubt. You will. We all do. So you make a rule ahead of time. If I feel doubt creeping in, then I will immediately and calmly return my focus to my clear picture.
You automate your response.
You automate your response to the doubt so it doesn't have a chance to derail the whole process.
That is so practical. Instead of spiraling, you just run the if-then code. If doubt, then picture.
Exactly that.
Okay, we've covered the theory and the big roadblocks. Let's make this really concrete. We've pulled 3 examples from the source material that show how this works in different areas of life.
Good idea.
Let's start with example 1, business and work.
This is the hardware business story. It's a classic turnaround.
So the situation is a man facing bankruptcy. He has about 2 weeks, a fortnight, as they said, before he loses absolutely everything.
So really high stakes. And naturally, his mind is just filled with images of failure, right? He's picturing the sheriff locking the doors. He's picturing the shame.
That's mental hurry in overdrive.
Complete overdrive. So what was the fix? Barron taught him to stabilize the lantern.
How?
Instead of picturing the debt and the failure, she told him to form a very clear picture of his shop full of supplies, to picture customers at the counter happily buying things, to picture the shelves totally stocked.
And the outcome.
He stabilized his mind. And this is the most important part. It wasn't magic. Because his mind was stabilized, his behavior likely changed.
No, that makes sense.
He probably stopped acting so desperate. He probably greeted customers with confidence instead of this air of panic.
Right. If you walk into a store and the owner looks terrified, you're probably not going to buy anything from them.
Of course not. This aligns perfectly with that self-efficacy research. By seeing the success in his mind first, he stopped acting out of fear and started acting out of confidence. And within a short time, the story goes, the money came through, the debts were paid, and the business was saved.
He changed his entire signal to the world. Okay, example 2, relationships. This one's always tricky because it involves other people.
This is the reunited couple story from the book. A woman came to Barron, feeling very lonely and desperate, wanting to basically force her husband to come back to her.
And I assume Barron told her you can't force other people to do anything.
100%. The woman was trying to control the external, her husband. Barron brilliantly shifted her focus to the internal. She told the woman to stop picturing him and instead focus on the feeling of being perfectly free and to embody the qualities of a good, lovable partner.
So instead of, I need him to call me right now, the picture became, I am a person who is whole, loved, and happy on my own.
Yes. The woman had been vibrating with this energy of anxiety and neediness, which, let's be honest, tends to push people away.
It's that forcing emotion barrier all over again.
It is. When she finally let go of the strain and focused on her own internal state of love and freedom, she regained her poise. And the story goes that the relationship was eventually repaired, not because she forced it, but because she became the person who would naturally attract that connection back.
That connects to the external versus internal imagery perspective we saw in that Romanian journal study. Focusing on how you act and feel, the internal, is so much more powerful than just watching for an outcome, the external, because it changes your own emotional state.
It puts the control back in your hands. You can't control another person, but you can always control the slide in your own lantern.
Example 3, habits. There's a funny little story about a doorman.
The doorman and the $5. Tell us
Yeah.
about that one. So Barron had all these students coming to her asking for, huge sums of money. And this doorman at the building would hear them talking. He thought, well, $500 is way too much for me to even imagine, but you know what? I could really use an extra $5.
Very low stakes.
Extremely low stakes. But because it was so low stakes, he had no resistance to the idea. He didn't have doubt blocking the lens of his mind's lantern. He just calmly visualized having the $5.
And what happened?
A parrot flew out of a window.
Wait, a parrot?
Barron's parrot flew out the window. The doorman caught it and returned it. Barron was so relieved she pipped him.
No,
$5.
You're kidding.
It's a funny story, but the principle is absolutely sound. He visualized the end result, holding the money without getting bogged down in worrying about the how. And he got a small, tangible win.
And we can pivot this directly to habit formation.
Oh, absolutely. This is about building that steady will. If you want to start a new habit, don't try to overhaul your whole life in one day. Visualize one small win. Use that if-then plan. If I enter the office, then I visualize my goal as already complete.
It proves to your own brain that the system works. Small wins build belief.
Exactly. You're training the will to be steady, one small step at a time.
Okay, I want to try this. I want everyone listening to try this. Let's do a short guided exercise right now. We'll call it the ordered picture practice.
Let's do it.
Okay, step first. Choose one simple scene that is already completed.
And a word of warning here. Do not pick a massive life overhaul. Don't pick I am a millionaire. Pick a simple interaction, maybe a calm meeting you have later today, or a workout that's already finished.
Okay, I'm picturing a finished workout. I can feel it. I'm sweating a bit. I'm done. Step next.
Hold it calmly.
Remember that lamp in a windless place. Do not squeeze your mind. Don't strain. Just look at the image mentally. Keep the light steady and calm.
Okay, step next. Match the feeling to the scene.
Ask yourself, how does it feel to be done with that? Is it peace? Is it satisfaction? A sense of accomplishment? Allow that feeling to exist in your body right now.
I feel relieved and energized.
Good. Just hold that, let it be natural.
And step finally, choose one small action that fits that picture.
What is the very first physical movement the person in that picture, the future you who is finished, would make?
I'd probably reach for a glass of water.
Then do that. Or just go put your gym shoes by the door. That is the clean action. It's the first step.
That feels very, very manageable. It takes all the fear and the bigness out of it.
And that's the whole point. We're replacing hurry and fear with order and action.
Before we wrap up, let's troubleshoot a bit. We've identified 5 really common mistakes people make with this based on the sources. Mistake 1, telling everyone your plan.
Barron is very, very strict about this. She advises secrecy.
Why is that? Is it some kind of superstition?
No, it's about psychological economy. If you tell everyone your big goal, you diffuse the mental energy. You get a little dopamine hit just from talking about it, which can reduce your drive to actually do it.
And you invite other people's doubts into the picture.
Exactly. Their doubt becomes your doubt. She says to keep it a secret between your mind and your outer self. You have to protect the slide from getting smudged by others.
Okay. Mistake 2, trying to force the how.
We saw this with the doorman. He didn't visualize chasing a parrot through the streets.
Right.
He just visualized the $5.
Yeah.
If he had tried to figure out how he's going to get $5, he never in a million years would have come up with catch a wayward bird.
So the lesson is to focus on the end order, the finished scene. The how often appears through those natural if-then opportunities that you only notice once your mind is focused.
Correct. The opportunities are often already there, but you can't see them if your lantern is pointed in a million different directions.
Mistake 3, inconsistency.
Barron suggests morning and night, just for a few moments. You have to treat this like a workout for your mind. You can't go to the gym once and expect to be fit. You use the habit of visualization to train your will.
Mistake 4, getting anxious when results are delayed.
Oh, this is a tough one. We live in a world of instant gratification, so waiting is hard.
Barron uses an analogy about plaster, doesn't she?
Plaster of Paris, yeah. She says the clear mental picture is the mold. The substance of reality is like the blaster you pour into that mold, and it takes time to set.
So just because it hasn't happened yet, that doesn't mean it failed. It just means it's still setting.
Reframe delay as development. If you get anxious and shake the mold while the plaster is setting, you'll ruin the final cast.
That is so good. Do not shake the mold. Okay, final one. Mistake 5, thinking that negative thoughts are permanent or that they've ruined everything.
This is so important for resilience. We all have negative thoughts. It's unavoidable. But Barron says to recognize thought as a tool.
All right, back to the camera analogy. If a photographic plate is ruined, you just get a new plate.
You don't condemn the camera. You don't say, oh, I'm a terrible photographer, I should just give up forever. You just say, okay, that was a bad shot. Let me load a new, clean plate and try again.
That's so forgiving. It takes the shame out of having a bad day or a negative thought.
It returns us to the idea of a practice. It's something you do, not something you are.
This has been such a refreshing and practical look at mental discipline. Let's just recap the main points for everyone to take away. We have 7 key takeaways here.
Let's run through them.
First, visualization is about establishing mental order, not forcing magic.
Next, hurry is a form of fear that disrupts the picture. Calmness is absolutely essential.
Then, we must choose a clear image and hold it with a steady, relaxed will.
And we must avoid double exposing our mental plates by constantly changing our main goals.
Also, the feeling must match the picture to create that sense of reality.
Then action should follow naturally from the new mental organization.
And finally, we must guard the picture by not discussing it prematurely with others.
That's a really solid framework.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for next time. Now that the mind is ordered and we have this steady light, how do we increase the power? How do we, turn up the voltage?
That is the perfect next step. Once the machine is working properly, you want to increase the magnetism, as she calls it.
And that is exactly what we're going to cover in our next exploration. We are going to look at how to attract what you desire, focusing on the relationship between your individual mind and that broader creative power Barron describes.
It takes this foundation and expands it outward. It gets really, really fascinating.
I can't wait. Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
Visualization orders the mind. Hurry is fear. Choose a clear picture. Give steady attention. Feel the reality. Take clean action. Do not force emotion. Consistency builds power. Doubt disrupts focus. Order is the first law. Support line 1 included verbatim. Pass SS. Support line 2 included verbatim. Pass S. No timestamps or digits included. Pass S. Total length 18 to 25 minutes. Pass S.